you have right now. It doesn't matter what time it is. It's always now for you. And it always will be now. And it always was now. Now is what you have. Don't throw time away. Pushing time away from you. Pushing time outside of you. Let time flow in and through you. And that's how you transcend time. A note on productivity. If you focus on your task to the point where you keep jumping back into it, because nobody can hold a singular task or frame, I'm assuming, for 24 hours straight. I'm assuming that with life, we're going to break frame. We're going to think of other stuff. We're going to deal with what's around us and other stuff that's in us. But if you can jump back into whatever your overall goal is, your vision, your aim, what you would say is the perfect day, if you do that, time is going to start to drag in your favor, because you're going to find yourself savoring more out of each minute, each second. And keep looking at the time. Yeah, look at the time often, as often as you can. And look at the art of numerology too, so that you can understand what the numbers whisper, because they're whispering on a second by second, frame by frame basis. All these numbers that spilled out here, all of them are telling us messages, is whispers from angels, because the numbers are assigned to give you and remind you of certain ideals that we are to embody if we're going to be our best, highest selves. We consider that an angel. So now is the time. And now spelled backwards is one, meaning not a battle that you're going to fight, but a battle that you already won, that you've already won, that you've already conquered, you've already overcome. So what's the trick to winning and winning in time? The lesson that I'm working to learn. Always assume the finished product more than the process of creating the product. The energy of a completed thing and seeing it in its best light is what's going to drive you through the hard times. And when it gets slow, and when it seems like you're not getting the kind of traction, when it seems like the inspiration isn't flowing, looking at that finished product and not making it just a static frame, but living in it, swimming in it, moving through it, growing with it. You make it where you can imagine what you see, you can imagine what you hear, you can imagine what you taste, you can imagine what you touch, you can imagine what you are, you can imagine what your day is. And you can really daydream on a split mind phenomenal scale with whatever side of the mind you're holding the frame of where you are, how you deal and handle your environment. But at the core, what's plugging it in, what's giving it juice, is where you're living in the finished product. In the finished product, you're living. See, if your kingdom is with you already, then wherever you are will be your kingdom too. We just have to keep reminding ourselves and not be so judgmental against ourselves. Don't be so hard on yourself. Keep jumping back to the task gleefully, cheerfully. Keep rowing that boat merrily down the stream. With happiness, you sail toward the current that's going to lead you to your ultimate destiny. Do it with joy. Do it with care. Do it with concern. Do it with perseverance. But remember, don't do it with pressure. You want to be light. You want to be ethereal. You want to be floaty. Those floaty feelings is what's going to allow you to gain real progress on the ground with the traction. Because if you're not inspired, you won't be motivated either. Yes, yes. So we're bringing the love and energies of creativity. We're bringing magic back. Magic already been around, but we're taking the bad name off of it. It's not about deception and trying to do sleight of hand. That's not what we talking about with magic. We talking about just good old common sense that works as good as a magic wand, or as good of a magic wand is represented to be a demonstration of. Our word is our wand, just like Florence Scovel Shinn told you. She wrote it in the book hundreds of years ago at this point, I believe. Your word is your wand. And just like Confucius said, whichever way you go with it, you're right. So you could choose which right. I lay before you a choice, life and death, life or death. So the choice is always yours in every second, every time frame. Look at the numbers, look at the digits. You're not missing everything. You're gaining everything. You want to slow down time. You feel like time is flying, because the space between 2020 and 2022 could have felt like it lasted 30 minutes, but it could have been a half hour from hell. However, in that space, depending on where you were in your journey and your vibration and how able and willing you were to embody this process that we're discussing here, you would have been experiencing maybe a lifetime between 2020 and 2022 where you just saw people falling on your left, people falling on your right. So you had the compassion enough to feel for them. But at the same time, certain practices that you already put in place just made you immune to Armageddon when it came, made you immune to apocalypse when it came. When the world fell apart, you had a world that was already unshakable, that wasn't based on things. It was based on perspectives and based on an outlook on life, based on how you are in your life, based on how you defined yourself and not how others may have defined you if it went against how you defined you. See, life is so beautiful because time is beautiful. Time is not an enemy. We're never running out of time. We're never gaining more time than we need. We always have now. Where's now going? Now is everywhere. So we got time. Even when we die, we got time. We die and go wherever else. That's going to be time. There can never really be a timelessness. Yes, there can be an end of numbering digits, but there'll never be an end of time. There'll never be an end of isness. This is how we record and testify to the isness of life. We use what is called time.